Good afternoon, Jayhawks, and welcome back to this week's episode of Rcreplay. I'm your host, Andrew Lind. This past weekend was an emotional roller coaster for sports fans as there were so many exciting games across the board, and our team is going to get you caught up in case you missed any of the action. Jordan Ziegler will preview the World Series between the Astros and Braves. Kyle Mathis will take a look back to the past weekend's Big 12 Conference football scene. I will give you the scoop on everything KU athletics, and Riley Kramer will recap NFL Week 7. All this and more on Rcreplay.
I'm here to tell you about how the championship series went. In Game 1 of the American League Championship Series between the Astros and Red Sox, Carlos Correa belted a no-doubt go-ahead home run in the bottom of the 7th. The home run helped propel the Astros to a victory and take a 1-0 series lead. Game 2 of the series was a lot less close as J.D. Martinez kicked off the Red Sox offensive explosion with a grand slam in the bottom of the first, putting the Sox up 4-0 early. The slam helped lead the way to a 9-5 Red Sox victory, tying up the series. The Red Sox offense continued their offensive explosion in Game 3 as Boston, with this Kyle Schwarber grand slam, put them up 6-0 in the bottom of the second. The Sox went on to take Game 3 12-3 and take a 2-1 series lead. Game 4 was a low-scoring affair throughout, but with the Red Sox leading for a majority of the game. In the top of the 8th, Jose Altuve crushed this game-tying 2-run home run that opened the floodgates to put the Stros up 9-2 and win Game 4 of the series, evening the series at 2 games apiece. Game 5 was all Astros from the start. Yordan Alvarez started the scoring with an opposite field home run off of Chris Sale as the Astros cruised to a 9-1 win, taking a 3-2 series lead, heading back to Houston. The Astros shut out the Red Sox in Game 6 of the series as Kyle Tucker's 3-run home run in the bottom of the 8th gave the Astros the cushion they needed to take this series. The Astros won Game 6 5-2, taking the AL pennant and stamping their ticket to the World Series for the 3rd time in 5 years. The National League Championship got off to an exciting start as the underdog Atlanta Braves were able to walk off the Dodgers at home. Austin Riley lined a ball into left field, scoring Ozzie Albies and giving the Braves a 3-2 win and a 1-0 series lead. Game 2 was just as exciting as the first in another Atlanta walk-off win at home. This time it was Austin Riley driving in Dansby Swanson off of Kenley Jansen to give the Braves a 5-4 win and take this commanding 2-0 series lead heading back to LA. It was looking like the Braves might jump out to a 3-0 series lead as they led late in the game, but Cody Bellinger had other plans. He blasts a game-tying 3-run homer in the bottom of the 8th to breathe life back into the Dodgers. The boys in blue went on to score one more, barely holding off the Braves with a 6-5 win and bringing the series back to 2-1. The Braves bounced back from their heartbreaking loss by dominating Game 4. The 9-2 win was due to the effort of Eddie Rosario, who went 4 for 5 with a home run, a triple, a single, then another home run late. Rosario was a double shy of becoming only the 2nd player in MLB history to hit for the cycle in the postseason. The win gave the Braves a 3-1 series lead, putting them only 1 win away from the World Series. Game 5 was a win-or-go-home game for the Dodgers, and Chris Taylor took that to heart. Taylor, who is already carrying a walk-off home run from the wild-card game, continued to shine in another elimination game. He hit not 1, not 2, but 3 home runs en route to an 11-2 Dodgers win. The Dodgers forced a Game 6, and going back to Atlanta, the Braves have to be feeling a little deja vu from when they blew a 3-1 series lead against the Dodgers last year. The series headed back to Atlanta, and the Braves may have finally lifted the curse of Atlanta sports choking. Eddie Rosario launched a go-ahead 3-run home run in the 4th to give the Braves a 4-1 lead. Rosario's homer and Dansby Swanson's sliding play proved to be the difference as the Braves upset the 106-win Dodgers, taking the NL pennant and punching their ticket to the World Series for the first time since 1999. The World Series starts tomorrow with Game 1 in Houston. Back to you, Andrew.
Thanks for the update, Jordan. I'm hoping for a Braves series win, thinking 4 games to 2. After everything that happened in the previous year with the Astros, it's just hard for me to rally around that club. Well, we still have more after the break. Stay with us.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
College football continues to excite, and our Kyle Mathis has more about this past weekend of Big 12 football. Kyle, what you got for us?
Yeah, Andrew, quite the weekend to say the least. We're going to start in Lubbock, Texas, though where K-State got down early to Texas Tech, but they found a way to win late. It was closely contested for the majority of the game, but after the Red Raiders led in the first half, Kansas State scored 15 unanswered points to win the game 25-24. Skylar Thompson threw for 296 yards and a touchdown in the win for the Wildcats. Texas Tech now moves down to 5-3 on their season with their next game against Oklahoma. For Kansas State, the win brings them to 4-3 with their next bout against TCU. TCU hopes to bounce back next week as the Mountaineers of West Virginia defeated TCU on the road. West Virginia's offense was on fire, nearly getting 500 yards of total offense in the game. They also shut out TCU in the second half, scoring 9 points in the second half during the shutout. Letty Brown rushed for over 100 yards in the game, while Jarrett Doge threw for over 200 yards in the 29-17 win. Now to Ames, where unranked Iowa State Cyclones took on the 8th-ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys. Brock Purdy's 300 yards of passing and Xavier Hutchinson's over 120 yards of receiving powered the Cyclones to a massive upset win in the Big 12. This could possibly put Iowa State back in the top 25 after they started the season in 5th and lost to Iowa and Baylor to drop out. They are now 5-2. Now, the marquee game of the weekend in the Big 12, the game that was televised on ESPN and nearly one of the biggest wins in KU football history. The Jayhawks had led the game for the first 3 quarters and held the 3rd-ranked Oklahoma Sooners to 0 points in the first half, the first time for Oklahoma since 2014. But for the first time in the season, KU had over 400 yards of total offense, with nearly 250 yards of passing for Jason Bean and over 100 yards of rushing from Devin Neal. With the game on the line on 4th and 1, KU nearly got the stop, but Oklahoma quarterback Caleb Williams stole the ball from Kennedy Brooks to pick up the first down and essentially end the game. It went down as one of the most controversial calls in any game from the weekend and might change the game of college football and football as we know it for quarterbacks all around the country. OU would go on to win 35-23. Well, I guess anybody can strip the ball from their own player to pick up the first down at any time. We'll find out as the season progresses what that means for college football, but what a fight by the Jayhawks to stay in that game. So congrats to our football team for that fight. Back to Andrew Lynn for more KU sports from over the week.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. You are exactly right. Hats off to Kansas football, a resilient group that battled with a team that will most likely make the college football playoff at this point in the season. Now we move on to KU sports, where this past week has been fairly slow as we begin to transition between fall and winter sports. However, starting with men's golf, the Jayhawks have now won 3 consecutive stroke play championships, most recently winning the Quail Valley Collegiate. Senior Harry Hillier capped off the Jayhawks' impressive weekend with a 2nd-place finish. Women's rowing competed in their 2nd race of the fall season Saturday in the Jayhawk Jamboree. In the first race of the day, Jayhawks Amanda Ferguson and Cameron Boyd placed 2nd. In the varsity 4, KU came in 2nd and 3rd, and in the varsity 8, KU finished 1st, 2nd, and 4th with a runaway win led by Katie Judd and company. KU soccer season is nearing an end. Last Friday, the women dropped a 2-1 match loss to Texas Tech. Sophomore forward Shira Elenov connected with a lone goal for the Jayhawks. They compete in the last match of the season on Thursday against Texas at Rock Chalk Park. After the break, Emma Linetti will cover the NBA and Riley Kramer will recap NFL Week 7. We'll be right back.
From adversity, we rose. We made history and became pioneers, voyagers, champions, Jayhawks. And when our chant rises, haunting and hallowed. Jayhawks are telling the world what's near. Victory.
Welcome back. As we move on to the highly anticipated NBA season, many games last week were impossible not to watch. Starting off at Madison Square Garden, the Knicks hosted the Boston Celtics to a double OT thriller. The Knicks were able to outlast Brown and the Celtics 138-134 on Wednesday night. The Celtics put together a push late in regulation where Smart tied with a three-point buzzer beater. Tatum played arguably a terrible game. Though he did have 20 points and 11 rebounds, he was 7 for 30 on the field, including 2 from 15 from three-point range. Whereas the Knicks' R.J. Barrett scored all 19 points after halftime, and Obi Toppin added a career best of 14. Kemba Walker had 10 points and 8 rebounds against his previous team. Now we're on to Hollywood, where the Los Angeles Lakers superstars LeBron James and Anthony Davis played against Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. Curry had 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists for the Warriors, with a fantastic comeback to defeat the Lakers 121-114. James had 34 points and 11 rebounds. While Davis had 33 points and 11 rebounds, no other Lakers scored in double figures. Westbrook shot for just 4 for 13 for 8 points for his Lakers debut. Curry made 3 free throws to closing the second of the third quarter after he was fouled taking a three-pointer, and Jordan Poole and Damian Lee had three-pointers early in the fourth. With Poole's layup with 9 minutes and 17 seconds left put the Warriors ahead for good, 91-90. He finished with 20 points. The Warriors expanded their lead in one game, 121-114. Last year's MVP and defending champions Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks didn't let the celebration of the franchise's first championship in half a century distract them as they opened with their title defense. Giannis had 32 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists to lead the Bucks to a 127-104 victory over the Brooklyn Nets Tuesday night. Mills had a brilliant Brooklyn debut after spending the last 10 seasons in San Antonio, but the Nets didn't get there much else from their bench. Now we're on to Riley Kramer for an NFL update.
The Kansas City Chiefs appear to still be on the struggle bus after Sunday's game against the Tennessee Titans as they dominated the scoreboard the entire game. The Chiefs were only able to put up 3 points on the board with 1 made field goal but no other scoring plays. The Titans showed up ready for a fight, and Kansas City made it easy by allowing 27 points by the end of the game. This game represented the 6th game in a row where Patrick Mahomes has thrown at least 1 interception. The Kansas City fanbase is not used to having a losing season in the Mahomes era, as their record fell to 3-4 after Sunday's matchup. Mahomes and the rest of the team have had great chemistry on the field the past few years, but with facing other developing teams, Kansas City has to reevaluate their gameplay. Mahomes explained in a post-game interview that building something that can be successful in the long run includes going through the ups and downs like they currently are.
Yeah, I mean, you never go into a game expecting to lose bad. Definitely you get shocked because you didn't play the way you wanted to. But we have enough leaders on this team. We have to find a way. I mean, I don't know what that's going to take yet. We'll go in, we'll talk about it, we'll figure it out, we'll watch the film. But I trust that we'll find it. I mean, that's what's part of leadership. That's what part of great teams are, is being able to battle through adversity. And it's been kind of rainbows and flowers and awesome for these last few years. But whenever you want to build something substantial and you want to build something great, you're going to go through parts like this. And people keep saying it's still early in the year. I mean, we can still go get whatever we want. But it's going to take us getting better every single day, because if you get better every single day and play each game play by play, I think we have the talent in this locker room that we can make it happen.
And that concludes today's NFL recap. Now back to Andrew.
That'll do it for this week's episode of Rock Chalk Replay. Next week we will have more on the NHL and Big 12 football, including an update on the World Series. For our entire crew, I am Andrew Lind. We will see you next week. Until then, stay safe and rock chalk, Jayhawks.